Salutations! We are back with another vlog. So, to fill you guys in on what we decided to do for, if we were gonna refeed, if we were gonna, increase the calories. What I ended up doing, I did the math, kind of checked in on some key points. So, for you guys, just to kind of fill you guys in, I'm deloading. This is like the tail end of my deload. Last couple days, and hadn't really increased my calories. And so yesterday when we were talking about it in the vlog, I was like, are we going to increase calories? Are we just going to stay here? And when I got home, I was kind of like, all right, what are we going to do here? So some of the things I checked up with, I was just kind of like, how's my sleep been? Sleep really hasn't been bad. Stress has been pretty high, which is actually pretty normal. That's more business related than it is like fitness related stuff. Joints are tight because I really just need to do some foam rolling, but they're not like sore, if that makes sense. Like I have sore muscles from just kind of working out a little bit and stuff like that. Like my calves mainly, because we threw calf raises in a couple days ago that I hadn't done in a little bit. So all that being said, I'm pretty good and recovered. I just need a little bit of calories to refuel, basically, And so what I ended up doing last night is, and this is where we cut it off, is just one not cheat meal, but refeed to the point where it really was just within maintenance. So I ate about 3,600 calories yesterday. In the cut, I typically eat about 2,500 to 2,700. So, as far as the weigh-in goes, we're about 2 pounds heavier from yesterday. And if you guys are keeping up with the weigh-ins I'm posting, which I do on my short form stuff, but that's been, that's really not that's a lot of water weight from what I could tell. We'll know more because yesterday I was telling you all about this. I need to be better about my water intake. I maybe got a gallon in. So I know I'm holding some water weight because anytime I do that, I hold more. And I don't skimp on salt. I think I've talked to you guys about that. One of the biggest mistakes you can make on any kind of fat loss journey is completely taking out salt because you think that water weight is going to be a big deal for your fat loss journey. And again, guys, you need salt. Your central nervous system runs on salt. If you want to be able to lift weights and get stronger, you need salt. Okay, so I don't take that out. I'm just really big about my hydration, and obviously I don't go crazy with it either. It's all about balance with that stuff. But all that being said, is I think if we were to slam 2 gallons a day like I'm supposed to do, which I'm a little behind on that today again too. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, so I'll need to hammer down on that. But that all being said, I think we can get back, because yesterday before the refeed I was at 220, and so only 2 pounds after eating more carbs than I usually do, and less water than I usually do. That's really not crazy, so obviously, and it was just one day, so what am I talking about, so all that being said, I feel pretty good. I definitely feel fed, you know what I mean? I could tell when I was looking in the mirror, everything's popping a little bit more. I don't look as hollow, and that's something too, if you guys aren't familiar with the process, is you will, guys, anytime you're in a cut, you will get flat. Your muscles are not going to be popping as much. That's why I'm really big about taking a pre-workout that has a good some kind of hydration booster or pump boost, or there's so many different things that can go along with that, but something that's going to help pump your muscles up. Creatine obviously is one of those that I recommend a huge amount, especially if you're cutting, because your strength is going to be, again, if you're in a calorie deficit, you're already at a default of having less energy. Why not take a 0-calorie supplement, you know what I mean, that just requires water? So we've been taking that too. So not as much as I used to. I was doing 10 grams a day for a little bit, but I need to get my water intake up before I really hammer down on that. There's a lot of things nutritionally I'm kind of playing around with. Another thing we're doing is a higher, I'm trying to get more fiber in, which is something relatively new. I haven't focused on it as much now as I have in the past, but it's just good for gut health. That's the main thing I focus on with gut health. Gut health, it's such a complicated thing when it comes to nutrition, because the amount of bacteria that's in your stomach is literally, it's just uncountable. It's complex, let's just say that. So like, it's just one of those things you can't really, you know, I don't know how true this is. I saw something about like, if y'all have ever heard of that AG1, something about how there was a study that just came out where it actually, from what they can find, it actually doesn't help your gut health in any, you know, recognizable, measurable way. But again, don't take my word. Look that up. You know, I just saw a post about that, and so I don't know how valid that is. But it was from Brian Johnson. If you guys know who that guy is, he's the anti-aging dude. I know he seems crazy, but he knows a decent amount. I can tell just from my knowledge when I hear him talk. Let's just say not all of it's bullshit, you know, like I can definitely tell from my own base knowledge. I'm like, oh yeah, no, he knows some stuff about stuff. So, and obviously he's reducing his age. I mean, again, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, go look that dude up. He's a character for sure, which is why he does good on social media, but that's something I need to look into. I've never really taken AG1, but I've taken, you know, just some different kind of like gut health green. You know, I was really big about, I'm still big about antioxidant mix, which I think is just the best way you can go about that, because that's good. That's going to be good for your, you know, good bacteria in your stomach, and it's an antioxidant mix. It's going to have a lot more benefits besides just that, you know, like anti-cancer. That's what antioxidants are all about. Anyways, we're at the gym. Today's deadlift day. Wrist is still kind of, it's tight. That's what I was talking about, like about the recovery. But that was for me being stupid and recording content. That wasn't from just like lifting, if that makes sense. And so that's just me really needing to like roll it out. I can tell it's like a tight muscle thing. It's just when I turn it a certain way, I can feel it like tightening up on me. Like that way, I just felt it a little bit. So we'll play around with it. It's not like we're doing anything super pushing, but like, if like when I grab the deadlift and my arms are feeling kind of, or my wrist is feeling kind of weak, we might shift stuff around. I don't know. Let me get inside and get warmed up, and I'll let you guys know. All right, the wrists are feeling good. We're gonna try really hard not to like go really heavy with today, because again, we're supposed to be deloading. I'm doing a 5x5, but I don't know. We might just keep it at 315 and just go up in reps, because I don't want to go too crazy. We're supposed to be deloading, you know what I mean? So one big thing I like to cover with these is, especially for, I mean, just for everybody who's deadlifting, if you're trying to prevent hurting your back, a big thing is one of the biggest mistakes people make when they deadlift, they use a belt all the fucking time. Guys, you do not need to be using a belt on all your freaking deadlifts. In fact, that's gonna cause you to be more likely to hurt your back, okay? Because you're not training the thing that's preventing back injury, right? This prevents back injury. You being able to stabilize here prevents back injury. What does that? Deadlifts. So when you wear that belt, when you're doing just a basic set of like 5 to 8, you're not really training that core. That is the whole purpose of this deadlift, right? So like, I used to have people all the time wondering, like I have people watch my videos and go like, why aren't you're doing really heavy deadlifts, why aren't you wearing a belt? I have a rule. If I can do more than 3, I don't wear a belt. You know, because if I do 1, and I'm like, oh, this is bad for my back, I'll just drop the weight, right? It's as simple as that. So that's helped me avoid, I've never hurt myself doing deadlifts, ever. I hurt myself doing sprints faster than I've hurt myself doing deadlifts. Like I got a grade 2 hamstring strain this past summer from doing sprints, and you guys have seen me deadlift nearly 600 pounds, right? It's not in the books with that. And the reason I'm able to do that, have that strength, and again, this is a very good exercise to be doing if you're trying to burn a lot of fat, because this is one of the highest calorie burning exercises in the books, right? So like, make sure you guys are addressing it properly, and also don't be like super intimidated by like, you know, the bad form concept. You're gonna know if you're doing bad form, okay? It's as simple as recording yourself and looking at it, then looking at someone that you know is doing it right and being like, okay, does this look similar? Okay, if your back is like this, probably not, right? So I say that. There's a bunch of different like examples I'm sure out there that would go against that. But you know, I'm trying to speak to the general population here. Anyways. Those feel really good. We'll probably try and do 8 on this next one. Yeah, speaking of these burning a lot of calories, these are getting me tired. Not tired, you know, but like I can feel my heart rate going up and stuff like that, which is all good. Today we'll probably go ahead and get some flies going, you know, because we did a lot of pushing yesterday. So chest wise, we're gonna do some flies. Probably gonna go ahead and do some glute bridges. Honestly, we could do them after these. I'm gonna do them with lightweight, probably just 135, and holds. I'll go ahead and say that the reason glute bridges are so freaking important, guys, a lot of you guys are not doing the glute exercises, and that's specifically the guys. The girls are doing them, right? But guys, if you're trying to lose a lot of body fat and you're trying to stay athletic, the most athletic muscle group in your body is your glutes. And none of you guys are training it because you're like, oh, that's a girl exercise. Get over yourself, okay? Like, I train my glutes probably like 2 or 3 times a week, like exclusively, right? Like I'm doing the kickbacks, I'm doing the hip thrusts, I'm doing all that crap like 2 to 3 times a week for that reason. That's why whenever I kick the bag, that bag goes flying. It's because that, and whenever I do like punching, anything athletic involves you doing this. Almost anything. You playing basketball, you're doing this. Shooting the ball, you're doing this. You playing football, you're doing this, right? You're doing MMA, doing all kinds of crazy shit, right? But like, there is not one sport where you don't need your glutes. You guys got to train it. Like that's also, again, a big reason why a lot of people have a lot of back pain. You're not training your glutes. Your glutes stabilize your whole body, right? It's the middle point between your upper half and your lower half. That has to stabilize. And a lot of us, you know, a lot of people are driving all day, sitting all day, definitely not moving the way they need to be moving, and especially they're not training their glutes, and you wonder why you have back pain. That could easily be a culprit, so make sure you guys are not skimping over that stuff. It's easily be a culprit. And the reason I know that, because not only have I seen this all the time, my brother, who's a doctor of physical therapy, sees this all the time. It's just, there's no debate on it. All right, we're gonna go for 8 on these. I think the biggest thing that's going to get me on this last set is mainly just my grip. Just that part, it's not hurting. It feels great when I'm doing these. It's just my grip strength is just not where I want it to be, man. I really got to start working on that. Not just that. I think it's a lot of it. It's because a lot of my work is me typing, a lot of texting and stuff like that. So I'm like this all the time, and so I really need to like stretch it out. And this is gonna sound crazy. I want someone to literally walk on my forearms. I know it sounds nuts, but that shit needs to be massaged out. All right, we're gonna go for 10. We'll see what happens. Oh, look, we're bleeding a little bit. Isn't that fun? I'm going to go a little bit wider on this grip. Two more. One more. I got a good little blood clot forming there. That's how tight you need to keep the freaking bar to your shins, y'all, when you're deadlifting. If you're really worried about hurting your back, that's what you do. Keep this shit so tight to your fucking shins, you could bleed from the friction of it going up your legs. That's how you know you're doing a fucking deadlift right. Anyways, told y'all, this gasses me. Especially 10. That's high volume for deadlifts. Whew. All right. We are gonna go ahead and get some glute bridges going. All right, just deload the weight a little bit. And like I said, we're gonna go ahead and do some glute bridge holds, specifically holds. The reason that holds are so important is because that's what's gonna help your nervous system. For a lot of people, the issue is not that your glutes aren't necessarily like working, it's that they're not holding the squeeze to help your posture. Specifically if you've got like an anterior pelvic tilt, that's something I deal with. And that's when your back, you get that banana sway back. And a lot of that has to do with just like holding your glutes in place, right? And tight hip flexors, and there's other aspects that go into it. But that being said, either way, if I want to hit harder, I want to punch harder, if I want to wrestle harder, I need strong glutes, right? So if I want to be a better athlete, I need strong glutes. And so, like I said, make sure you guys are not skimping these. We're not going to do too many since we just hit deadlifts, but we're going to do probably like 3 sets of 8. But push, hold. I'm a little close to this thing. Let me move forward. I might have to readjust y'all here in a second. There we go. Make sure I just don't hit my head. And then up, hold. In just a couple seconds, it's kind of like when we're doing those knee extensions or leg extensions. You're just kind of holding for a couple seconds and down. And again, when you're doing deadlifts, you're hitting them, but you're not getting that hold in, you know what I mean? You can even see here, I can't even hardly get myself to go all the way to the top. So, hence the reason I'm working on these so much. 2 more. One more. And it hurts your pelvis. But you gotta do them. Make these quick, and then we're gonna get some flies of some sort. You can also do this little move where you just tap and go. Keep that tension on the glutes. Man, even this much weight's really hard for me to like just get to the top like I want to. I'm gonna try getting a little bit higher up. See if I like that more. Oh yeah, that's much better. Put it on the hip bones. You can tell how much I do these specifically. But what I usually do is there's a machine over there I use, but even that I need to play around with it more. And this hat coming off is really distracting me. Here. Will that work better? Let's find out for this last one. Okay, nope. Oh. All right, we're gonna do one more of those. I'm thinking dumbbell flies, or specifically dumbbell. I don't know why. It just feels like I would enjoy it a little bit more today. How do I keep getting closer to this thing? I think it's when I'm bridging. I'm scooting back on accident. All right, let me take this off. Oh man. Oh, it doesn't look like much. But towards that end there, you can really start feeling like the cramping start coming in, which is always fun. All right. We need to get some flies going. All right, so since we did incline press yesterday, I'm gonna offset that with some incline flies. Just focus on more than anything, just stretch the chest, you know? Just enough weight to really get it down there. But you know, these benches too are a little wide, so you can only go so far down without getting them shoulders involved, but feels good. We might need a little bit more weight though. Yeah, just a little bit more weight. We're probably going to go ahead and hit some side raise to rear delt raise, or rear delt fly. Superset, hit the shoulders. Lat pullovers for the back. Because technically, we're going to have a pull-focused full body. I kind of separate deadlift into its own day. I love my deadlifts. So we'll probably do some, like, honestly, hanging pull-ups. What am I saying? Weighted pull-ups, my brain. I'm all over the place right now. I'm thinking about 20 different things right now. That said, gonna go kind of easy on the pulling today. Just trying to get those lat pullovers in next, and then obviously we hit deadlifts. So that'll be hit. So we'll hit shoulders next. Gonna go ahead and hit some hanging leg raises after that, and then cardio stretch. Get out of here, you know. So let's get it going. I almost feel like I need to incline this a little bit more too. We might do that on the last set. Okay, yeah, I do want to, we're going to incline that just a bit. All right, last one. Oh yeah, this feels a lot better, or a better stretch for sure. Or at least where it's tight and it feels like it needs stretched, you know? That was more of a press. Oh, that's the zone for me right there, dude. That made the 50 pounds feel 10 times heavier. Maybe not 10 times, but you know what I mean. All right, lat pull, no, shoulders. All right, we're gonna keep this nice and simple. I do these at least once a week just to keep everything fresh, but side raises, I mean, you guys have seen me do these before. Side raises, 3 sets of 10. And then superset with rear delt flies. And they just help, you know, hit those shoulders, or, you know, the deltoids, which the shoulders are 3 individual muscle groups called deltoids. Front deltoid, side deltoid, rear deltoid. All right. We're good on those. After these, we're probably going to do some, I'm trying to figure out if I want to do lat pullovers or I want to do like cable pullovers. So, I'll tell you what, we're probably going to, what am I saying? Dumbbell pullovers or cable pullovers. I'm probably going to do dumbbell because the reality is I haven't done either of these in probably like in months. But I know for a fact that when I do the dumbbell version of these, that my shoulders get a good little stretch that I don't usually get with just cables. So just that kind of free weight feeling, you know. I thought I grabbed the wrong weight. Ooh. Oh, he's burning. All right. We're honestly, since we hammered down on the shoulders yesterday, we're probably going to call those there. Just keep it 2 sets, get them hit. But yeah, because probably what I'm going to do tomorrow, I'm really debating doing some clean and presses tomorrow. Even though we did shoulders earlier this week, haven't hit that exercise in a little bit either. Doing it with some lightweight sounds good while we're still in a deload. Knock out a lot of muscle groups in one go, and honestly, I probably need to record some content for you guys on it because it's a really good exercise to be doing. So we'll see. That or thrusters. You know, there's so many different shoulder exercises I need to throw back into the routine. But good on these. We're probably going to do the same thing with the lat pullovers. 2 sets, we'll probably do sets of 15 since we're not supersetting it or anything like that. So 2 sets of 15 there, and then when we get to the hanging leg raises, I have to bump it up again because I need to hit that those lower abs. So 3 sets of 10 for that. All right, it has been a fucking long time since I've done these, so not that I don't need to be doing them. We're just gonna see how they go. I might be a little bit tight with these. So we're here, and honestly, this is going off. There y'all are. Oh yeah, those are fucking good. I haven't done those in a long time, and they feel really good. 60 was the perfect weight for that. So not too crazy hard, but I felt the good effort. Like a solid like 6 to 7 out of 10, which is what we need for the deload. So one more of these hanging leg raises. Oh yeah. Those are absolutely gonna have to get back in the mix. Ugh. Dead. Which is not gonna bode well for these hanging leg raises, but we're gonna see what we can do. All right, we're gonna hope this angle will do. I mean, you're not gonna see the lower half of my body, and I'm gonna jump up there and then you'll be able to see me. But my grip's pretty spent, man. I mean, we're gonna see what we can get done. But we're gonna fight for it. It actually felt great. As long as I don't do toe to bar where I'm really flinging myself up there, I should be fine. All right, 2 more. It's the jump, man. The jump is just so high up. I ain't gonna lie though, those feel great. I didn't even take my hat off that time. Something about them's like, I don't know if it's just like stretching me out, but I'm gonna complain about it. After this, we're gonna go ahead and do probably some bag work again. Because again, I was cooped up for so many days in a row, I didn't get to do any bag work, so skip me a little bit. I'm gonna take advantage and probably do another 10-15 minutes in that stretch, and then we'll get the hell out of here. I think doing these right after the pullovers too were really good, because pullovers kind of hit your upper abs just a bit. Honestly, in a very similar way that these do. So, lower ab, upper ab kind of thing. All right. All right. Just like that. I know y'all can barely see me, but we're going to get some of this bag work in. Might do a little pose out here in a second just to kind of see what I look like with the pump. It's most of the time I post those weigh-ins. That's just literally first thing in the morning, so let's go check that out real quick. All right. We haven't been in this room in a long time. It's changed a little bit up. But I also haven't really posed out since we've done our little thing. So let's see how it's been kind of looking and progressing. See, with lighting, so much better. So yeah, I mean, we've got abs, but like at the same time, like not shredded abs. You know what I mean? So that's what we're going for. You guys will probably, I will never comment on these, right? Like, but you guys, when you guys see me doing all these, like, you know, the egg flip weigh-in videos, I will never comment on those because I want you guys to debate amongst yourselves in the comments and everything. But at the same time, I'll explain kind of the whole thought process behind that is like, I just want to give you guys like a day-by-day steps, like how this is going, and just to prove that like you can, it literally is a choice. Like burning fat or losing weight is a matter of just eating the right way, or eating less rather, right? And so we're using the scale to like calibrate that and stuff like that. And I'll get a lot of comments like, well, you look fit. What are you talking about? You're not fat. And you know, like obviously this is kind of like on that note too, because again, they're right there, right? 1, 2, and you can kind of see the bottom, but they're coming in. But my point is that, guys, I used to be 34% body fat. You know what I mean? Like that. On top of the case too is I'm an athletic fat loss coach. So I want to be absolutely just diced. Like all of this, I shouldn't be having to flex. I shouldn't have to wait for a pump. It should be there. You know what I mean? And I've been there, and I know I can get there again, which is why I have all that confidence going into, you know, of posting the way I am and saying that being fat is a choice, is because I'm living proof of that, dude. Like, I am living proof of that. So anyways, I'm not gonna do that every time, just to kind of keep you guys up in the loop of what it looks like to have a pump. And again, like that's probably the best I'm gonna look for the next like 30 to 40 days until I have another like refeed day like that. Because the refeed day is what really does a big part of the pump. You know what I mean? So as we progress, I'm gonna get flatter and flatter and flatter and stuff like that. But I'll also be losing more and more fat. So that being said, we just got over the 40-day hump with that process. Over the next course of the next 40 days, we're gonna start really seeing some freaky cuts start kind of popping out. Like I said, I think once we're roughly around, like I said, 222, roughly around 220. Once we hit around 210, 10 more pounds of fat loss on top of what we got going on, It's gonna be money, dude. But taking you guys along with that process, and we might even go past that point. Like I said, I want to get diced. I want to get as shredded can be. I'll have some kind of deadlines for that, of course. Roughly the idea I have in my head is like day 100, and then not necessarily, again, I don't want to think too far down the road. You know what I mean? We need to focus on today, right? But anyways, I'm going to do some bag work, do some cardio, stretch, and then I'll see you guys in the car. All right. We are done, tired, and honestly, a little bit hungry. You know, even though I had 3,600 calories yesterday, don't get me wrong, I could easily do that every day of the week, honestly. I love to eat. I talk to you guys about this all the time. I need to do a food competition of some sort. You guys, all right, y'all drop me some food challenges you want me to try out. We'll do them for like I'd say refeed, but what we would do is we would just fit it into the diet. No challenges over 2,500 calories, please. And honestly, however many protein shakes I'd have to drink to make it up, if I get relatively close, I'll be fine. Actually, let's do it this way. Gotta be a little bit careful on these roads. These are still kind of slick. But these roads are getting clear, my guy. We're finally about to get to a point where everything's about to get back to normal. I think we're supposed to have snow next week, but I don't think it's going to stick like this. This was insane. I mean, honestly, if you guys are in America, you probably know about it. I mean, this was not a local thing. I mean, I'm pretty sure this hit like 50% of the United States. So everyone's dealing with it right now. But it's done. Anyways, tomorrow's agenda, I wanted to kind of bring this back into the loop, because as I said, I don't do the gym every single day, and tomorrow I think is going to be a cardio/yoga day, mainly because my nephew is having a birthday party, and so I'm going to make some time to go stop by there and go see them, hang out with them, and then we'll do again, we're still going to do some kind of vlog tomorrow. I'll show you guys kind of, what I do on, like, just my more chill cardio days where I'm not really going out much. Which, again, this is only like twice a week. But it's just me walking on a treadmill. So we'll talk about it, talk about what we got coming up later this week. But that's probably what we're going to do tomorrow, as far as I can tell. And I'll probably also... I figured on those days would be a good day to kind of show you guys like what we're doing diet-wise too. So I'll try and clean my kitchen up enough so you guys can actually see what the hell's going on and stuff. But yeah, man, as far as the cut goes, I feel like the cut's going pretty damn good. You know, like I said, here in about 40 days, things will start looking a little bit more intense. You know, my abs are there. They're just there with good lighting and a pump. You know what I mean? And so obviously I don't want that. But the fact that, in reality, I was kind of shocked. Because, again, I hadn't even looked at myself with a pump in weeks, in weeks. Just because I've just been focused on the grind, focused on the calories and stuff like that. And so the fact that you can kind of see you can see my abs when I'm still above 220 makes me really excited. Like that makes me extremely, because, again, the goal is to drop another, 10, 15 pounds. So, if you can see my abs now with that, I mean, again, we're going to get to a point where we're walking around above 200 pounds and walking around year-round with abs, hopefully. I mean, that was the agenda to begin with. I cannot stress to you, and guys, I'm natural. Cannot stress to you guys how hard it's been to keep the muscle while being able to, like, kind of stay in this zone of a lower, leaner body fat percentage. And still be above like 220. Do I want to be 220 and super lean like that? No, that's too much. There's a line, right? Even right now, I don't like sitting around 220. It doesn't feel good. Not compared to like 210, 205. I remember what that felt like, and it felt really nice. So the idea is to just be there again, but with 10 to 15 more pounds of muscle on me than I had before. Which is looking to be the case. Everything is going smoothly. As much as, like, the business stuff has been stressing me out, as it always does. I'm a business owner. I mean, that comes with the territory. I I've been really kind of like putting this on the front burner. You know, the fitness is by far, even guys, and this is coming from a guy who owns a freaking business, right? Like, even me, this comes from, fitness has to come first. I don't show up for my workouts without my body, or I don't show up for work without my body, right? And obviously for what I do, it's very important that I do that. Like, I can't just skip that because obviously I'm a coach, right? So that all being said, we're in a good zone. I think we're in a good zone. Walking back into the 2,500 calories today, 200 grams of protein if I didn't address that. Lots and lots and lots of water. And then tomorrow, I guess we'll start off with some kind of lunch or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll adventure together and we'll figure it out. But I'll see you guys then. Peace.